So companies are now hiring people with the explicit intent of laying them off, and literally nothing feels safe. I just saw a video of a girl who was day 2 of a new job, and she was called into HR, who she hadn't even met yet because it was her second day on the job, and told that her role had been impacted and that she was losing her job. On the second day, they then went on to tell her that this decision was being made during the time when they were extending her an offer, but they didn't want to withdraw the offer because they felt like that would have been wrong. However, when they hired her, like during her onboarding process, they were already aware that the shifts in the company were happening and that she was going to lose her job. I would rather you rescind the offer before I officially get started. Also, I don't know about this legally. If there are any employment attorneys, I would love to hear from you, because they told her point blank on camera, we hired you knowing that we were going to lay you off immediately. So not only does the job market itself suck, even if you land a position, you have to be immediately concerned because they might have hired you just to lay you off.
Hi, welcome back. This is Dee. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to be checking out videos about the layoffs. We're going to be checking out compilation videos about people who got laid off and people ranting about the layoff that is going on. Fed workers also get joining into the, people that are getting laid off is really crazy and scary. So we are living in a wild times. The jobs that we used to think you would have job security with when you have it. Now there's no job security. Like, a lot of people are living in panic, not knowing what day they would be let go of because of the economic state of the country. This is what we're dealing with right now. So we're going to be checking out these videos and see what people have to say about this. But before we get right into this video, please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
I am shaking delivering this news because this will affect all of us. This will affect you. This will affect your families. This will affect your children. As of this morning, Trump and RFK Jr. have effectively cleaned house at the CDC, the FDA, and the NIH. Kennedy announced last week that he would be firing 10,000 employees from these institutions. However, it was not just an overall cut of staff, trim of the fat. They are shutting down deliberate, specific offices that you and I rely on. Now, I don't want to forget any, so I'm going to read them to you directly. At the CDC, they shut down the National Center for Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion, the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, the National Center for HIV, Viral Hepatitis, STD, and Tuberculosis Prevention, the National Center for Environmental Health. Environmental health handles things like natural disaster preparedness, wildfires, massive storms. I know everyone's talking about the Joplin tornado. They handle things like sanitation and air quality tracking. They handle things like asthma, lead poisoning. Environmental health alone is a huge aspect of what you and I rely on every day to maintain our health. I can't wait to see them justify this one. They also shut down the National Center on Birth Defects and Developmental Disabilities. Robert Califf, the former FDA commissioner under Obama and Biden, said this: the FDA, as we've known it, is finished, with most of the leaders with institutional knowledge and a deep understanding of product development and safety no longer employed. They are also laying off 873 employees at the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. That is 2/3 of its staff. If you've ever had a job in the United States, you probably know about OSHA. OSHA was developed after massive amounts of human beings were harmed and or killed at their jobs during the Industrial Revolution. They are one of, if not the only, national institution protecting the health of the working class at their corporate jobs and or otherwise. This will affect all of us. This will affect all of us, all of our families, your children. This affects everybody. You do not cut specific offices like the Office for Gun Violence Prevention and Reproductive Health unless you are doing so to deliberately disenfranchise specific marginalized groups.
Are y'all not scared? Like, I'm seeing a lot more vacations happening, a lot more people buying things, products, whatever they want to do, and living their best life, which I'm all for. But are we not scared about the administration and what's happening? I'm seeing a bunch of layoffs, a bunch of firings, a bunch of programs that are changing and that are affecting a lot of lives right now. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, Do we just not care? Are we in a delusion? Are people finding money in different pockets that we just are not realizing and that we all need to understand where it's coming from? So just give me the tea. What's going on?
Are we great yet? I am one of the newer victims of the Doge cuts under the Trump administration. My role was an outreach person for the 988 mental health hotline. So my job was to promote its use and go to events and make sure the public knew about it and how great of a resource it is. And the company that I work for, which is a nonprofit, laid me off because of their impacts on funding, and the money that pays my job is now no longer theirs to give. So loving it.
Okay, everybody, so we're all meeting here today, and we all have this idea that we are getting fired or laid off. Also have the HR email on this big board. Oh, yeah. Aquí and TikTok. Saludos. We've just passed a group of people in another room that are also anxiously waiting for 11 o'clock. Here comes one person from another room.
Oh, no. So that's why that because she texted me very early, and I was at house for sure. It's gonna be.
Hi, we're making a TikTok about. We're making a TikTok about 30 minutes before getting fired.
Yes, if you could sign your name, phone number, personal email address. Also, thank you everyone for coming to this meeting. I do want to acknowledge that this is going to be a difficult conversation that we are going to have. We have made the decision to close the program. This is due to funding that we are not receiving from the federal government. This is nothing for you all against your performance. Unfortunately, just with everything that is going on in Washington, the funding has stopped from the program. So positions will be affected, and unfortunately, all of your positions will be eliminated as of today. So as of today, February 26th, this is your last day.
I'm leaving here with something. The pen, No, I'm taking this. We got our boxes of stuff, y'all. We out.
Well, that's it. They gutted the CDC, National Center for Injury Prevention, and the Violence Prevention Branch, which are what fund my research. This is my whole career that I was working for, and it's gone. It's gone. I don't even know what to say.
Corporate Gen Xers, you better buckle up. It's going to get ugly here pretty quick. I mean, think about this. March was the third most layoffs in history, and that's when businesses were doing well and performing financially, right? This is, mass layoffs even after strong financial quarters. Now with the utter chaos in the stock market and what these companies, do you think they're going to sit still? Absolutely not. They're going to ramp up taking cost out of business. And again, who's going to be the brunt of it? Gen Xers. Because even though you have the most experience, wisdom, etc., they don't care. You're also going to be the most expensive. So if you thought you were going to be able to ride this out, things just took a turn, and it's going to accelerate. There's just no doubt about it. Like I said, just look at the last 12 months where a lot of these companies were financially performing well and taking cost, basically people out of the business. It's only going to ramp up. So if you haven't made your plan B, I would highly encourage you to think about that now. Again, there's no reason why you can't start this process. Again, I talk a lot about monetizing your corporate experience. You've been doing it for 20 years, 25 years. You paid the price, you paid the dues. You might as well make some money from it. And small businesses are going to feel this, but not the same way that corporate's going to basically cut the costs. So If you've been thinking about escaping, curious about it, but haven't taken any action, now would probably be the time to do that, unless you're one of the 20% that has enough in your 401k, which may have taken a hit, and can retire here in the next couple of years. You can ride it out. But if not, like I said, there's no better time to start preparing. And like I said, this is what I've kind of dedicated the last couple of years. Been doing this for 5 years, dedicated the last couple of years to helping others get out. So if you are curious, if you are nervous, I've got some free tools. Just go click the link in my profile. It's my link tree. Check out the free starter kit just to help you think through it. And also connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer. I get probably a dozen people connecting on a daily basis. Happy to answer any questions. So again, if you're still in corporate, now's the time for Plan B, and good luck.
So I just got laid off on a random Wednesday from my job of over 2 years, and it's okay. I had honestly been looking for other roles. Funny enough, this morning actually, I had a Zoom with a company that I had 3 interviews with, and they wanted to Zoom me with an update, and I thought, oh, this could be an offer, right? Why would they reject me over a video call? So lo and behold, it was a rejection over video call, and they made sure to tell me that it was super, super close between me and one other person, and for no real reason, they went with the other person. And I was like, okay, I'm really bummed, but it's fine because I still have a job. And you know what? Only a few hours later, I no longer have that job. So with that being said, I'm taking this opportunity to pitch myself. If you are hiring in influencer marketing, content strategy, even social media strategy, I have over 6 years of experience working in a 9-to-5 role in both the fashion industry as well as beauty and wellness. And then I've been creating content on social media for over 10 years now. But I know so many people are dealing with this right now, so just know you are not alone, and happy Wednesday.
Hey everyone, so big life update. I was just laid off today from my job, and I have so many conflicting feelings about it. I just feel like the way that these companies do layoffs sometimes and let people go is just, it really takes away that human aspect. And I'm in a position now where this is not my first layoff. The first time it happened to me, I was devastated, I was heartbroken, I was scared, and this time around, I feel a lot more prepared. I feel like I did a lot of saving because I knew, and I know now, this is just like the nature of the game. The timing is crazy. Like, I don't know if it's the universe working in my favor. I don't know if there's something that I'm meant to be doing that is gonna come to fruition now. I think I'm relieved because I knew going into this specific job at this specific company that this was not gonna be the end-all be-all for me. I just feel like I'm at this really weird spot in my life where the fact that this brings me a little bit of relief and a little bit of comfort and some excitement for what's next, I think really allows me to be in a space now where I can reevaluate, I can take my time, and I can just kind of take this time right now to focus on me, focus on my health, focus on doing the things that I want to do right now. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of like just ranting right now, but anybody who's been through layoffs can relate to the mix of emotions that comes with it. I'm just gonna take it day by day and see where the universe leads me next.
너 왜 울어? 문제 있어? 무슨 문제가 있어? 엄마한테 말.
I need to tell my mom that I got laid off. This is not going to be an easy call. We're going to just FaceTime her from my phone.
여보시오.
뭐해?
가게에서 일하지?
오늘 가게 일하는 날이구나.
어쩐 일로 전화를 했어요?
아이, 전화한 지 오래됐잖아, 우리가.
그래서 잘 지내고 있나요?
잘 지내고 있지.
왜 그러지? 너 왜 울어? 문제 있어? 무슨 문제가 있어? 엄마한테 말.
진짜 엄마한테 하고 싶은 말이 아니었어, 이게. 근데 오늘 회사에서 정리해고 당했어.
아이고.
생활비도 어떻게 지낼까? 엄마는 맨날 나만 걱정하잖아. 그래서 더 걱정시키고 싶지 않아, 나는.
아니, 괜찮아.
그래서 말 안 하려고 했는데
말
내가
안 하면 안 되지. 말 해야 돼.
그니까 엄마니까 그래도
그렇지.
엄마한테는 말하고 싶었고.
울지 마. 할 수 있어. 할 수 있어. 너 혼자 찾을 수 있어. 걱정하지 마. 괜찮아. 울지 마. 그리고 그 레이벌 디파트먼트에 가가지고 엄마하고 아빠는 걱정해 본 적이 없어. 다 너 잘할 거라고 생각했어. 괜찮아.
고마워. 엄마가 그렇게 말해줘서 너무 고마워.
너도 더 좋은 잡을 찾을 수 있어. 걱정하지 마.
계속 열심히 하고 있었지만 지금부터 이제 더 열심히 하고 내 자리를 찾을 거야.
사람들은 그런 일 한 번씩 다 당해. 이게 나를 좀 더 스트롱하게 하는 그런 거야. 그러니까 절대 실망하지 말고 더 좋은 잡, 이 기회가 너를 더 좋은 잡을 찾을 수 있게 하는 그 기회일 수도 있어. 필요하면 언제든지 엄마한테 말해. 필요한 거 있으면. 오케이? 부족했던 잠도 자고 어디 이제 그 어디냐 그 도서관 앞에 지금 꽃들도 막 필 때잖아. 꽃 구경도 가. 그 튤립 필 때잖아.
미안해 엄마.
파이팅. 파이팅. I love you. 힘내.
I just got let go from my job. I knew it was coming. Honestly, I work at a company and I worked. They didn't have my salary in the budget. Also, they have been letting people go left and right. I was not surprised. But now, come along with me while we look for a new job, which is gonna make me so happy. It was not a happy place for me, honestly, it wasn't. Is it bad that I'm happy?
I just got let go from my job as part of organizational shifts and return to office. As you guys know, I have been a remote employee for the past 5 years, really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm crying not because I'm sad that I got let go. Obviously, the instability of losing an income always sucks. What sucks most about being let go is somebody taking control out of your hands. I always preach internally and here at home that we have got to be the people in the driving seat of our futures, of our careers. And when a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks because all of a sudden the plan that you had, the roadmap that you were on board for is gone. Now you've got to start over. And this is why you've always got to have a plan B, a plan C, and most importantly, an emergency fund. I am incredibly upset and frustrated. There have been several shifts in the company in this last couple of months that I just knew the writing was on the wall and I knew my time was coming. But the fact that we have an emergency fund, because ultimately that is what matters at the end of the day, is that we have money to pay our mortgage, to pay for our daycare. We have that as a fallback, and I can take time, maybe a week, to just collect my thoughts and put together a strategy for job hunting. Always be prepared for the unexpected, because ultimately companies will always put themselves first. And as much as you want to believe that you're part of the family, you like the people you work with, it's a business transaction. It's a business contract, and you've got to handle it as such. But please know that you are more than your job. You are more than what you do. Have a plan, have an emergency fund. Do not spend more than you need to. Live below your means. We are in strange times. That isn't beside me losing the job, just general messaging. Protect yourselves, treat yourself as a business, and always be looking for better opportunities, because companies would do the same, and they are.
Mass layoffs in the federal government began yesterday, and this time it's healthcare workers who are being targeted. These are Health and Human Services employees trying to get into work to learn if they still have jobs. The cuts could affect everything from food safety to research into deadly illnesses.
Long lines snaked around HHS buildings Tuesday, with some employees reaching the entrance only to be told their access had been revoked and their jobs terminated. All told, the department says its workforce will be reduced from 82,000 to 62,000, which also includes early retirees and those who accepted deferred resignation deals. It's estimated the cuts will impact roughly 3,500 workers at the FDA, 2,400 at the CDC, and 1,200 at the NIH. Yesterday, protesters gathered outside the CDC's Atlanta headquarters. Among them, Barbara Tomczyk, who left the agency 2 years ago and whose husband, a CDC scientist, was one of the thousands who were laid off Tuesday.
When I worked there, we went through reorgs all the time. It was very thoughtful, methodical, but it was not like, cutting the head off.
HHS has defended the downsizing strategy, saying it will eliminate redundancies and save taxpayer money. But critics argue the workforce reductions have already gutted vital programs, including some aimed at stopping HIV and bird flu outbreaks, as well as anti-tobacco regulators and mental health and addiction experts.
What really upsets me the most is that I know people in this country will needlessly get sick and die as a result of these cuts.
Cuts to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services are a bit more discreet, about 300 layoffs expected for that agency. Meanwhile, HHS insists that the services themselves won't be impacted.
There's a lot of people out here celebrating these federal workers getting fired like they just won something, but you're missing the point, and we're going to get there, but let me set this up. The federal government is the largest employer in the United States. It's bigger than Walmart, it's bigger than Amazon, it's bigger than your former friend's MLM company. But here's the thing, these former federal workers aren't being executed, they're not being shot into space. They're entering the job market, which means they're about to start competing for jobs. Your job. And lately there's been this celebratory energy coming from certain corners of the political spectrum every time a large group of federal employees get let go. Real quick, let's compare. Your resume says that you're a team player and you can lift 50 pounds. Their resume says they've negotiated multilateral arms deals and are fluent in 3 languages. Now, no shade to wherever you worked before, but anyone with a functional brain that's hiring people are going to think the stakes were slightly higher at, say, the State Department. And let's not forget, they all have college degrees, and it might not mean anything to you, but it certainly does to almost every employer. So you can laugh it up while these federal workers lose their job, but just know, you're not watching your enemies disappear, you're watching your new competition arrive. So good luck out there.
Don't quit your job. I know that you want to, but right now the job market is trash. There's an impending recession or depression, and as of today, the stock market has completely plummeted. A lot of people on TikTok have been saying that it feels a lot like 2008 all over again, except for without the we or Obama, and unfortunately I have to agree with that. I was laid off 2 weeks ago, so let's see just how bad it is out there. So far, I've applied for 24 jobs, and I've only gotten a response to one of them, and that was a rejection, which honestly, at least they responded to me. The rest of the applications, I haven't heard anything back. Going into this, I also thought that having a huge network that I have in my industry would be a plus, but there are just no openings, or at least no real openings. There's so many ghost postings, and with that, I've only been able to get 1 referral. The rest have all been just cold applying. I do have 2 leads for freelance work. It's not full-time, it still feels a little unstable, but at least it's something, so those are in the works. But yeah, it's really bad out there. I would recommend just staying at your job. It's worse applying in this job market. It's very humbling. For my other laid off folks, good luck out there.
Happy Friday, everyone. I got laid off last night because my office sold to a new dentist who doesn't believe in dental hygienists. So we're gonna do a haul of everything that I just grabbed from my office and my operatory. Here is my cutie little tooth light, LED. I got so many compliments on that. This is another LED whiteboard light, which I actually got from TikTok Shop as a Christmas gift, but still. All my little tiny chapsticks. Obviously my lab coats. Embroidered, of course. Some scrub caps, more scrub caps. Actually a really good find. Super nice lab coat from Goodwill. My sharpening block and whatever. This is mine, I got it from school. I got 2 cassettes from school, and so when I got to this office, I separated those 2 cassettes into 4 packs because the office I worked at really didn't have great instruments, so I just brought my own. This is a charger for my speaker, another cassette, 2 of my syringes, which are also mine, trophy handpiece, 2 Kevitron tips. Let's see, what else do we got? My blood pressure cuff, all my markers for my little sign. All right, and finally, my treasure boxes, which I created with my own money. I have a kid's treasure box, and of course I thought it was like a fun idea to have an adult treasure box, so we've got both of those, and I took them both because I made them and I bought them. In all seriousness, I am pretty upset. The new doctor never apologized, really never even called me or met me. He was supposed to call me and have a conversation about moving forward. Instead, he texted me late at night and said, yeah, we're not going to be working together. So I just went and picked up my stuff, and I will now never see my patients again, never see that office again. My patients, if you're seeing this, I did not abandon you. They just kind of booted me. So bye, love y'all. I will miss you.
We have major breaking news this evening. The Trump administration will be firing up to 20% of the IRS's workforce beginning this evening. I've received a number of emails from a number of employees working at the IRS who said they received reduction in workforce notices. Now, here's what's the significant part. It's happening during tax season. Tax season ends on April 15th. This is the busiest time of year for the IRS, and well, they're about to terminate a lot of people. According to reports from the Associated Press, this could impact up to 20,000 employees. That's up to 25% of the entire IRS's workforce. It's going to be absolute chaos at the IRS during tax season. Yes, you have to still file, but this is all part of an effort by the Trump administration to stop investigating those who are tax cheats, the wealthier. And so tonight is the beginning of what is going to be a massive reduction in workforce. I've received a number of emails from a lot of you, and I will continue to provide you updates, so spread the word. And as always, I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, link to my bio. Follow along for more.
Mass layoffs that are going on, if you really still think, like if you still have that mindset that, oh my God, like this layoff that's happening is some way, somehow like a personal failure of yours, or maybe something is wrong with you, then honestly, like maybe you're just not listening. You're out of touch with reality, because literally people around you, people that surround you, people are getting laid off so bad that you shouldn't even think it's something wrong with you. It has nothing to do with you. It's literally just what is happening to a lot of people right now. A lot of companies are cutting their costs. You're not alone in this. A lot of people are going through this heat right now. If you're someone who is a victim of this layoffs that is going on, I hope you don't see this as the end of the road for you and just see it as a temporary setback. There have been a lot of people who got laid off and actually found a way around it and became successful, and they got to the point where they were grateful that they were laid off, because that was what created a path for them to follow what they actually were destined for. And I'm just trying to give you positive reassurance. I hope that you don't beat yourself down and feel like you're the only person who's going through this. A lot of people are going through it, and it is not your fault. You were a good employee and you did your best, and just look at this as a time for you to like search for an opportunity to see what you could possibly do, and never give up. Keep trying, and eventually, hopefully, you get something that is right for you and the right place for you. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate you. Make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. I will see you on the next one. Bye.